Okay, now that we have the batter done, we've got our oven preheated to 350. We're going to take 3 8-inch cake pans. We're going to grease and flour them, but I like to use wax paper on the bottom of the cake pans. So I've already greased and floured 2 of the cake pans. I've greased the 3rd cake pan and have placed a cutout of parchment paper in the shape of the bottom of the pan. So I'm going to take a paper towel. I'm going to dig into what I'm using is Crisco. I'm going to grease over top of the wax paper. Make sure that we get all the crevices. And again, I'm going to grease the sides of the cake pan. I'm going to do this for all 3 cake pans. Okay? So we're going to set the Crisco aside. We're going to take the leftover flour that was not used. We're going to sprinkle a little in the bottom of the pan as such. Okay, it doesn't have to be too much, but you want enough that it's going to coat the bottom and the sides. So we're going to shake it around, okay? And preferably I like to do this over the sink because it eliminates having to clean it up off the floor and the counters, but I'm going to do it here over the pre-existing flour. So we're going to tap the sides of the cake pan as such, and we're going to get the flour to where we want it. It's got to cover from the bottom of the cake pan to the top because the cake is going to rise. We're going to pat and turn. Okay, we're going to do this all the way around. And if you don't have enough flour, you can always scoop some more in there and then start over where you left off. But in this case, we had plenty. Now, we're going to tap the excess flour out of the cake pan. Now, if you still have little bunches of flour in there, that's fine. It'll come off when you peel the wax paper off the cake. So now we're going to set the flour aside. We've got all 3 cake pans lined up. Now, we're going to take our batter and we're going to pour it equally into all 3 cake pans. Now, I know some people like to pour it into a measuring cup or a big mixing bowl or whatnot, but it kind of leaves the batter a little behind. So, and we want each and every drop of that batter. So I'd fill it 1/4 of the way for each one. This way you can see how much batter is left. Now if you have excess, perfect. Just pour a little bit into each cake pan. And don't forget to scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl. It's very important that you get every last drop out of there, even off the spatula. So we're going to start back over to the first pan. I'm going to put a little more in there. Now if they don't come out even, it's not the end of the world. You're going to take each cake pan, tap it twice on top of the stove. This releases any air bubbles that are in the batter. Okay, that and it evens it out. So now we are going to bake these off. Alright, so again we're baking this at 350 for 20 to 30 minutes or until a toothpick inserted into the center of the cake comes out completely clean. no batter, no crumbs, nothing could be left on the toothpick, okay? It's going to indicate a fully cooked cake, and that's what we want. So, I'm going to put it on my timer for, start at the lowest possible, so we're going to do 20 minutes, okay? And we're going to check it. If it does not come out clean, or if it looks a little underdone, then we're going to add an additional 10 minutes on top of that. After having the cakes in the oven for 20 minutes, I performed the toothpick test, which they did not come out clean. So I left them in there for an additional 10 minutes, total time of 30 minutes. Performed the toothpick test once again. Perfect, came out completely clean. Once I removed the cakes from the oven, I placed them on the cooling rack for approximately 10 minutes. Now, after the 10 minutes were up, I came in here, checked to make sure that, I'm able to touch them without burning myself. That was not the case. I left them on for an additional 5 minutes, and now I'm able to lift the cake pan without any issues. Alright? Now, it is time to invert the cakes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the cooling rack that the cakes were on. We're going to grab the cake pan here up underneath the lip, and we're going to flip. Okay, you may have to tap the bottom of the cake pan a couple times just to make sure that it's loose. Lift, and voila. Now what we'll do is we'll remove the wax paper. Now, it's okay if the wax paper sticks a little to the bottom of the cake. It's just from the eggnog and the sugar and whatnot. Throw the wax paper out, set the cake pan aside, and we'll do it again with the other.